This is Brother Ron Herbert, also known as R2C2H2 Artist. You are watching We All Be TV, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Can you dig it?
Grits ain't groceries, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Brother Ron. This is We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's right. It's News Free Dixie for the 21st century. And I'm here around midnight. Do, 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 do. Ooh. Thinking about Miles Davis' rendition around midnight with John Coltrane, Libra Man coming up with so much sax appeal. I think Coltrane's birthday on September 23rd. Borderline Virgo, Libra makes sense. You know, Charlie Parker was a Virgo. John Coltrane is a Libra with Virgo leanings. Both of these guys were like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, when it came to the saxophone, practicing hours and hours on end. But let's get to the point here. This is Brother Ron, and you are in News Free Dixieland. So we got a lot to talk about. I want to go live because heard some unfortunate news earlier today. Woke up, found out that Jesse Powell has become a righteous ancestor. And that actually really bothered me. I mean, a lot of losses, a lot of L's right now. 2022 I almost feel like 2016 in a way. You know, we lost a lot of great ones. But Jesse Powell was an interesting guy because I do not believe he was treated right by the business in terms of the talent that he had. This guy had, to me, generational talent. He's from Gary, Indiana. You know who else was from Gary, Indiana? That dude named Jackson, Michael Jackson. You know, I'm Bad, Thriller. Gary, Indiana produced some phenomenal musicians with generational talent. Another person I think of, I want to say that the late, great Baby Huey. Y'all know about Baby Huey? Y'all know about Baby Huey, right? Hard Times. That's his song. That song, Hard Times, he did. It's a hip hop staple when it comes to sampling. So many groups like the Roots and so many people have sampled that song. Dun 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 do 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 dun dun. Hard Times. Yeah, I love that song. Baby Huey, he left really early. Thank you, Brother Ronaldo, for your donation. We love you madly. Brother Ronaldo from the Carolinas. But Hard Time, I'm trying to find that brother. I always say Baby Huey is from dun 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 dun. Let's see. I'm looking at Baby Huey. I ain't talking about the cartoon. I'm talking about the brother who was from Richmond, Indiana. He was from Richmond, or he was born in Richmond. So he was signed on my cousin's Curtis Mayfield label. But I'm thinking about Jesse Powell because he's from Gary like Michael Jackson was. Jesse Powell had provided me some memorable memories for my soundtrack. His songs, like You. I hope forget about You. Unforgettable You. You. Check him out on YouTube. The song You. But what I've been listening to all day, really on and off, was his rendition of Gloria. I love, man, y'all got to listen to Jesse Powell rendition of Gloria. I was listening to on and off all this morning, throughout the day. Man had an amazing, amazing, amazing voice. Amazing. Great singer, balladeer, whatever. Never got what he should have got to me in the industry. Maybe he didn't want to make those deals like so many other people have made who have blown up with lesser talent. just tragic. He's 51 years young. You know, Michael was 50, going on 51 when he passed. Interesting. But Michael had an amazing, illustrious career, arguably the greatest entertainer of all time. But he couldn't even live to be an old man. And 51 in this day and age is still young. And my thing, I question the timing of Jesse Powell's passing because he died a day after his birthday, which is interesting to me. I don't know. I keep on thinking that did he take his life because of the disappointments, or he's going through a serious illness? Very quiet, nothing made of, no fuss made about what he was going through. But I just keep on thinking, did he take his life? I don't know. But I want to thank him. Thank you for leaving this amazing treasure trove of just gems as far as your songs. And I would tell people, like, listen to some of his stuff. Even if he did like About It. I remember I Wasn't With It. You remember that song? It was like his version. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Shaggy. It wasn't me. But that was his version. I Wasn't With It. So tight because it reminded me of my early college days. Going to watch you in St. Louis, moving, freshman year, sophomore, heading to sophomore year, playing that song throughout the summer. I Wasn't With It. Amazing little small guy with a big voice. When I think about Jesse Powell, he reminds me of another unsung, a great, great artist who don't get the recognition that he deserved. The late, great Little Willie John. Are y'all familiar with Little Willie John? A lot of y'all may not even heard that name, but your favorite artist was Little Willie John. When I was saying grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. That's not Dick Gregory talking about that. That's Little Willie John, Around the World. And he was the guy who did the song Fever. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all hear that song Fever? He did that song, but they had white artists take that from him, kind of like how Big Mama Thornton did You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, and Elvis came and took that song from her. But listen to Little Willie John's version of Fever. It's up there with anybody's, but they took that from him and they gave it to the white artist, and the rest is history. But let me tell you about Little Willie John, why he's so important to know. Little Willie John was so bad, great, phenomenal, that Jackie Wilson, Mr. Excitement himself, they both from Detroit. Little Willie John was born in Arkansas. His folks moved to Detroit. He grew up in Detroit. But Mr. Excitement, Jackie Wilson, was afraid to go on after Little Willie John. He would prefer to go on before Little Willie John. That's how bad Little Willie John, because the brother could sing, he could dance, he could do it all. Amazing. It was a small guy, kind of like Jesse Powell, not a big guy, a small, petite guy, big voice, big personality, right? This is the dude who taught James Brown how to properly do the Apollo Theater. Yes, the Godfather of Soul. Learn how to be an exceptional performer. He was taught by none other than Little Willie John. Little Willie John was so bad, Berry Gordy wanted to build his future record label around Little Willie John. He wanted to build Motown around Little Willie John, but Little Willie John was already established. He didn't need Motown to become a big star. Matter of fact, we just lost an icon that a lot of us don't really know, but we should know. The one and only Dr. Mabel John, who was the sister of Little Willie John. Dr. Mabel John was the first lady of Motown. She was the first female artist signed to Motown back in the day. So she created the blueprint for the Diana Rosses, everybody Supremes, everybody Heat Wave, everybody. Martha and the Vandellas, everybody who came after her, she was the blueprint. We just lost Dr. Mabel John in August. That was Little Willie John's sister. Dr. Mabel John used to drive Berry Gordy around Detroit to help him start Motown. So, but Berry wanted Little Willie John, but then, Jackie Wilson helped to create Motown. Because Berry Gordy was a songwriter, right? did a song called Lonely Teardrops. Lonely teardrops, my heart never heart. I love Jackie Wilson. So that was actually Barry Gordy who penned that song and helped contribute to the success, the foundation of Motown. And I'll get all into that right now. But Little Willie John had taught James Brown how to do the Apollo properly. He put the fear of God in Jackie Wilson. Jackie did not want to go on behind or after Little Willie John. Even Stevie Wonder, the reason why he started calling himself Little Stevie Wonder was in honor of Little Willie John. But yet, time marches on. Little Willie John died under questionable circumstances up in Washington State in prison. They don't know how nobody. It sounded like it was foul play, and he wasn't even that old. Did he get out of his 20s? I don't know if he was 29 or his early 30s. Let me look that up right quick. But he passed under suspect circumstances. But fortunately for him, they did put him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not too long ago, he made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm just trying to look how old he was when he passed on. He was just 30 years old. Died in prison in Walla Walla, Washington, under questionable circumstances. And what happened was he was in prison because he actually did self-defense. Somebody trying to beat him up or kill him at a party. He attacked the dude in self-defense. The guy ended up dying. He was railroaded by the courts, and they ended up in prison in Washington State. And next thing you know, he's dead at 30. But Little Willie John should be remembered more than just a footnote. He was an amazing a performer. But there's really no footage of Little Willie John doing his thing. The thing that will make Jackie Wilson fear going on behind him, the thing that will make James Brown pay attention to him when he told him how to do the Apollo. There's a small bit of footage of Little Willie John. He was on this popular TV show back in the day called Route 66. It's like an interesting show they did back in the 60s. I think he was in the scene at this hotel dancing in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. Little small, little cameo. But anyway, Jesse Powell should have been a big star. The talent he had, he should have had a bigger platform. But really, R&B is dead right now. To me, I feel like R&B is dead because they killed the love in the music, man, and replace it with anything but heart and soul. And Jesse, he was a throwback to those type of performers. He would have thrived back in the 60s and 70s, but he happened to be born a certain time period and of transition. So he didn't get all he should have got. So that's why I had to do a show tonight. I was thinking about Jesse Powell. Ain't like I listen to him all the time, but when I do listen to Jesse, it brings back great memories of me as a young person, my coming of age. You know, I love these songs, and the songs are so different now. I couldn't really talk about no P&B rock. To many, P&B rock, what he does, what Drake does, that's R&B for a lot of these younger cats. But I love listening to Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, Barry White. You listen to Love Unlimited Orchestra without any singing. They sound great because they understood the power of musicians creating organically, using instruments instead of computers. But even Barry White knew that was coming. You think about Isaac Hayes. You can think about Al Green and what Willie Mitchell did with the high rhythm section. All that stuff, Royal Studios. That love that was in the craft. And I like my artists to be a little bit nutty, a little bit crazy, eccentric, exotic. They make the best music. You know what I mean? If David Ruffin was David Ruffin, it wouldn't sound right. If Teddy Pendergrass wasn't Teddy, if Luther Woo, if they didn't do interesting things with their personal lives, it wouldn't sound that great. They had something to say. They survived. They came through something, and they had something to say. It's like what Tupac said, being the rose that grew from concrete. These guys are miracles. Like you look at Marvin Gaye, he didn't have, think about what he had to come through childhood wise, dealing with his father, dealing with his own demons and stuff like that. Marvin Gaye used his mental illness to create some brilliant, timeless music. He's talking to himself, hey man, hey, I can dig it, man. Hey brother, you got a dime to spare? I don't got no dime to spare, but I got these spare ribs. All that stuff. I love it. That's like Van Gogh with the canvas. You understand? Deep stuff. Like with these rappers, I don't care a lot about these rappers right now, but we'll make them hit off. They sampling certain songs from back in the day, even the disco stuff, all that stuff. They sampling Sly and the Family Stone. They sampling Baby Huey, Teddy P, Isaac Hayes, all them guys. David Porter. I met David Porter, interviewed him a little bit. He talked about how his friend Maurice White created Earth, Wind, and Fire, how he shared with him his vision to create Earth, Wind, and Fire. These are Memphis dudes. See, Memphis is a very powerful place as far as this music and the culture and all that stuff. But it make you have Memphis think is a backwoods, backwater plantation town, which it is, but it's by design. It's white patriarchy plantation system. And these darkies do the bidding of white Zeddy. It's a very Masonic town. Like where they had the Klansmen buried at, the first Grand Wizard, Nathan Bedford Forrest, right across the street is the Scottish Rite organization. That the guy, it's so much to process. But anyway, it's a very interesting place to be from. A lot of interesting things come through here. But what I'm saying is, Black people, we are the manifestars of this space and this realm of this matrix. But we need to learn how to use those manifestation skills for our own liberation, for our own benefit, for our own empowerment. And that's very important. When you think about that, Jesse Powell was already validated. His gifts validated him, but the industry did not accept no Jesse Powell. Jesse was a pure talent. That's God-given. He's a God. He manifests. It's unfortunate you got a system. I want to talk about R. Kelly tonight. R. Kelly, another tormented genius. A lot of y'all like to look down on R. Kelly. I still look up to him. The man is a phenomenal force of nature. I hope that he does a couple of prison albums and songs. He got a lot to give the world. I don't think he should be feeling sorry for himself right now. He is truly gifted and connected, and I hope that he'll use those talents till there's no more breath in his body. And I hope somebody have enough sense to record him doing some interesting things in prison in terms of the music. People think that this is the end of the road for R. Kelly. Longer he's breathing, he still got a chance. It was an interesting musician back in the day named Lead Belly. Lead Belly went to jail a couple times, very valiant fellow. Actually went to jail for killing somebody. He got out of prison. He down in Louisiana, did a song for the governor of Louisiana, got him out of prison. Became a celebrated folk singer, all that stuff. And they still use his music for Super Bowl commercials. So whoever owns his rights to his music, they eating really good right now. But a lot of people say, well, Lead Belly went to jail twice. He killing people and stuff. Stone cold killer. It was not the end of the road. It was just the beginning. And he was able to redeem himself. And I think R. Kelly can still redeem himself, but it's not important that he needs to get forgiveness from us. I still rock R. Kelly. R. Kelly is like in my Mount Rushmore of R&B musicians and singers and stuff. Soul singers, R&B soul, male singers, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, R. Kelly, the 3 Spot, and of course, Al Green. Those are my 4 on my Mount Rushmore. I'm not telling you who your 4 should be, because when you tell people who your top 5 or your Mount Rushmore, or your top 10, well, you forgot. I didn't forget nobody. These are the 4. If I'm on a road trip I'm cool listening to either of those guys' catalog for the whole time through. I'm good. I can listen to Sam Cooke driving to St. Louis, nothing but Sam Cooke. I can listen to nothing but Marvin Gaye going to Atlanta. I can listen to nothing but R. Kelly going to Kansas City. I can listen to nothing but Al Green going to Houston. You know, they good for me. Yeah, I like Teddy P. I like David Ruff. I love Barry White, Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield. That's my cousin too. I love Curtis. But those the four right there for me. Now you have your four, but those mine. And I'm still rocking R. Kelly. I have yet to go to a repast, to a wedding, to a restaurant, or a barbershop where R. Kelly is played and people say, turn that pet up, you know what, off. I don't want to hear no R. Kelly. I have yet to hear anybody say some foolishness like that. You listen to gospel musicians. A lot of these gospel musicians were and are degenerates. They're people. There's a lot of stories about a lot of great gifted gospel singers doing a lot of interesting, weird, fetish things. I'm not going to talk about it because it's not about me degrading these great people. They were human, going through the gods and goddesses going through a human experience. So if you're going to go through a human experience, you're going to get in the dirt, in the mud. You're going to be grimy. It's going to be dysfunctional. It's going to be traumatic because you are experiencing a human experience. So, like, yeah, a lot of the great gospel singers were very confused about their identity. You know what I'm saying? They flip-flop. They gender-bendered, all that stuff. They did the good drugs. They had all type of weird fetishes. They people. And I talk to musicians. They'll tell me stories about R&B guys that y'all love and gospel singers that y'all adore. And it don't really bother me because they people. Because I tell people all the time, you follow me around 24 hours a day, you're going to be disappointed, bro. Or sis. You're going to be very disappointed because I'm a human being and I do some really interesting things. It's like when Miles Davis was on somebody's talk show towards the end of his career. And somebody in the crowd asked him about John Coltrane. I mean, Miles Davis is a legend, icon at this point, very well established. Somebody asked him about John Coltrane, a member about John Coltrane. He said, yeah, he bit his nose and ate the booger. People said, oh my God. Yeah. But hey, he said, he bit his nose and ate the booger backstage. Nasty mouth. You know, it is what it is. A lot of us picked our nose. Come on. Some of us even ate our boogers. Did a lot of interesting things. It's like with this Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish thing. People really dumping on Aries. If you tell me that Aries not funny, you disqualify your whole perspective on Aries Spears. To me, we don't believe you. You need more people. Because Aries is actually a funny, brilliant comedian. It's just a lot of times he pushed the stuff too far for my taste and a lot of other people's taste. But he's not the problem. He's a symptom of what's going on in Hollywood. And I don't think he should be canceled. I think it's preposterous that people won't go on that high horse about this guy. The guy is talented. And people talking about, the Mad TV. I remember when that came out on Mad TV, he's doing a little parody and he had the dude on his back and he kissed the guy in the mouth. I remember when that came out. And really, the alphabet folks should be protecting him like they protecting Lizzo because he opened the doors for P Valley and all this other interesting stuff going on, shenanigans going on. He is a pioneer. He should be getting like one of those Rainbow Awards or something like that. GLAAD Awards. He should be protected like they protect Lizzo. Lizzo get the protection that all black folks should get. Foundational Black Americans should have the same protection from scrutiny and disrespect that Lizzo has from the so-called, y'all call dominant society, what y'all like to call that foolishness. But I say all this to say, getting back to R. Kelly, because I want to talk about R. Kelly tonight. I have yet to go anywhere where R. Kelly music is played with even children present, that folks that turn that MF off. I have yet to see that. Is that repass at the funerals, at barbershops, at restaurants, anywhere. And I still bump R. Kelly proudly. It's like I be seeing folks They say they love Master P. They go to the No Limit reunion concerts, excuse me. Then when they out driving around, they want to turn the Master P down. They want to turn down the Silk the Shocker. Silk the Shocker is the reason why there's mumble rappers. He's one of the pioneers, Lil Wayne. I mean, Silk the Shocker, it was ahead of the game. And Silk actually was not that bad to me. People say he was off beat. It was a rhyme to his reason. He did his thing. I think what's happening now is that there's not enough uniqueness in the music, or there is uniqueness, but it's not really being promoted like it should be. A lot of the most brilliant people right now, R&B, are not getting the shine like they should. Like a person I can think of out the bat, Giveon. Giveon should be better known and well respected for what he has done. I thought Giveon was a black Brit. I didn't know he was from Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? But I love Giveon's stuff. It's like, I like his stuff. It's good. It's unique and it's good. And more people should be listening to Giveon. But I don't know if he get radio play. I don't listen to radio like that. Like I said, I'm wrong. They don't cater music to my age bracket. I'm aged out of being catered to by MTV and BET and whatever iHeartRadio, all that crap. I don't care about all that. I just know I like what I like when I hear it. It's like if you love art, yeah, it's good. Art is a great investment, but it's always good to go with your heart and your intuition when it comes to collecting art. Because you don't know, you can start a trend that can help people recognize an artist, not only after they gone, but while they still here. I'm friends with Michael Holman. We're gonna have Michael Holman on We All Be very soon to talk about this great hip hop debate, the origins. Michael Holman is FBA. He looks like a white guy. He got them light eyes, high yellow, come from very interesting family. But Michael Holman was one of Jean-Michel Basquiat's best friends. He was in the band Gray with Jean-Michel, one of the founding members of the band Gray. They also had Vincent Gallo, a well-known actor, especially in indie films. He was also in Gray. Michael Holman is a true Renaissance man. He was the manager of the NYC Breakers, the breakdancing group. He actually, managed them when they were invited to perform at Ronald Reagan's inauguration. I think back in 85. I think it was the one in 85 they performed at, if I'm not mistaken, his inauguration. He also wrote the screenplay for Basquiat, starring Jeffrey Wright as Jean-Michel and David Bowie as Andy Warhol. He wrote the screenplay for that. He's a friend of mine. And he did the first hip-hop TV show in television history, called Graffiti Rock. This is before Yo MTV Raps. This is before Rap City and the Source and all that. He did the first hip-hop TV show in history. And we will be having him on very soon to talk about the great debate. Was Jamaicans' involvement in hip-hop, Puerto Ricans, Latino, Latina. We're going to talk about all that stuff on this platform. And you can go back in the archives and look at some of the stuff we did with Michael Holman. We actually brought Michael Holman down to Memphis, my organization, to speak. We didn't record the first one. I actually wrote for the paper back in the day, the Tri-State Defender. I wrote an article about his visit to Memphis the first time we brought him. Second time, I did record his speech, his keynote for our organization. And also, we interviewed him several times on the platform years ago when we was doing Blog Talk Radio. So we're going to talk about a lot of interesting things in the coming days and weeks on We All Be. We're also doing a lot of interesting things in the community as well. But I want us to be more critical with R. Kelly. I'm going to get back to R. Kelly. Say what you want. It's not over for R. Kelly. And I think the best is yet to come for him. I just think people got to be real, that he's a victim as much as anybody that he said that he preyed upon. I want us to get out our emotions about things when it comes to dealing with people, because we all people. Happy people different forms of happiness. But R. Kelly is being attacked for his intellectual property. It's not about morality with these people. They have no morals. These folks have no morals. This is about money. This is about control of resources. It's about anything but doing right by his so-called alleged or so-called victims. This is about punishing a black man for being in control of his destiny when it comes to his creations. This is what they did to Michael Jackson. This is what they did to Sam Cooke, Otis Redding. The list goes on and on. They do it in different ways. They don't always kill their person, their target right away. They play with them like some people play with their food. They torture you over a period of time. They, instead of shooting Paul Robeson like they did Malcolm and Martin and Medgar, they tortured Paul Robeson for decades. They torture him. Some folks you get rid of right away. Some folks you make an example out of by torturing them. I remember when I saw Lauryn Hill in Memphis at Minglewood Hall several years ago. It was interesting. You know, Lauryn Hill, when I think about the miseducation Lauryn Hill, that bring back some interesting coming of age memories for me going into college and stuff like that. Even I think about now, which is interesting. I wish I had a time machine because the women around that time, I actually probably could have been married. I could have been divorced by now, but at least I would have been married one time, had a couple of kids, it'd be good. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, I mean, 2022 is like, damn, man. I didn't get the right play. I didn't make the right call on things. But anyway, but I remember seeing Lauren, right? And everybody was like, the anticipation was off the charts, right? It was like the Minglewood is a small concert hall venue thing, very intimate setting. It ain't like it's the FedEx Forum or even the Pyramid or even like those big arena things. So, I mean, this is Lauryn Hill in 2013, I believe. I think it's 2013 or 2014. Probably. But anyway, her open act come on, do a great job. And then we still wait for Lauryn Hill to come on. Lauryn Hill didn't come on the stage almost midnight. You know, and people like, it's like, I understand when Lauren talking about the artistic process, but it's so disrespectful to people's time. Now you got folks there, they got families, they got babysitters, and you know, they, oh, we had planned for a dinner or that, and then your plans are all blown up because Lauren want to take almost 3 hours to get on stage, like 2 hours after her open act, whatever. And the thing about it is, we were still excited to see Lauryn Hill, even though my foot was hurting, my feet were hurting. You know, we were waiting all the time for Lauren, swollen soul feet. But what Lauren did, she did her hits, but she did it her way. She remixed everything. Like that thing is not that. It's not that thing from '98. It's that thing of that there right now. So Lauren said, "Yeah, I'm the artist. I'm gonna do it my way." And okay, it's cool, but she did not try to cater to the fans at all. Even when Miles Davis doing his thing, you know, Miles would turn his back to the audience, and folks got upset. You know, Miles, why he turned his back to the audience? Miles said, "I'm trying to hear the band. I'm listening to the band." No, Miles was just a sound technician. His thing was, I'm gonna justify turn my back on these bastards because I'm trying to listen. And maybe that was true, or maybe it was just a part of his shtick and his presentation. But Lauren, no, I gave her the pass. It was cool just to see her perform. See Lauren. You know, why I actually saw Lauryn Hill. There's so many people I wanted to see. Never had a chance to see live, like Tupac and people like that. I could have saw Chuck Berry when I was going to school. I didn't see. I wish I had saw him performing at Blueberry Hill on in U City. Uh, you know, you take those things for granted a lot of times. Those opportunities that are sometimes seemingly too easy to come by, and you regret not taking those opportunities when they presented themselves. But it is what it is. And you gotta learn how to live with regrets, like Jay-Z said on Reasonable Doubt. You gotta learn how to live with regrets. People say you don't supposed to have no regrets. That means you haven't lived your life. A life well lived will also have regrets. A life well lived will also have regrets. No doubt about it. But anyway, I say all this to say that when it comes to like people, like this trust thing, I have a different understanding what trust is or trusting people than I did when I was 20 years old. When I was 22, my idea about what trust and trusting people meant is different as a 42-year-old man. How I understand what trust is that you trust people to be human, to have a human experience, to run the gamut of human emotion, human nature. I trust people at this point to be people. So by me doing that, it lessens my disappointment in so-called people. Like now I'm not putting people on pedestals or having great expectations. Not having low expectations either, but I'm not having any. So like when somebody do something exceptional, which really should be mundane, because like what is exceptional these days should really be commonplace. Like common sense should really be common, but it's not. Then wow, you do something that should be done anyway, but the fact that you did it, and I wasn't expecting you to even do what should be done all the time, it restores my hope in humanity. Not really, but anyway, R. Kelly. Somebody please record this brother. I can see this brother like organizing a phenomenal choir in prison. I can see this dude teaching cats how to arrange. I mean, he could make an amazing traveling prison band. I can even see this dude using his prison choir, whatever he's gonna do, and playing at the White House, even play at the Vatican, play all over the world. There is a redemption song in R. Kelly. I have not lost that faith that R. Kelly can actually redeem himself. It's not important that he redeem himself to us. It's more important that he makes a peace with himself. Because he got still so much love to give. Like Barry White, I got so much love to give. Like Isaac Hayes, he's up there. He's with those guys. R. Kelly can save R&B while in prison from a sudden death. He has generational talent, but these cats make these deals. Jesse Powell should be celebrated like a Lizzo, like a Rihanna, like an Adele, but he didn't get there for whatever reason that may be. Little Willie John should be as revered as a Marvin Gaye, as a Sam Cooke, but for some reason, the politics of the situation dictates that he be relegated to being a footnote, which is not true. I had interviewed a great journalist from Detroit, a white woman, who wrote a biography on Little Willie John. She interviewed his sons. His sons, or one of his sons, ended up being a backup singer for Stevie Wonder. Like I said, Stevie Wonder started calling himself Little Stevie Wonder in honor of Little Willie John. So he was a backup singer for Stevie Wonder for some years. I interviewed him on my Blog Talk show. The interview is uploaded to the We All Be TV channel. Y'all should check it out. It's worth checking out. But Little Willie John is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He is acknowledged. But then you got cases like the person that I respect, Johnny Ace, John Marshall Alexander Jr. from Memphis, Tennessee, who for 2 years only had a career that was about 2 years long, was the most popular black male singer in the country back in the early 50s. Tragically, his life was cut short, 25, playing around with his gun backstage, doing a Christmas concert down in Houston, December 25th, 1954. Had his mistress on his lap, Olivia Gibbs. He pointed the gun at her, pulled the trigger, click, nothing. Pointed the gun at other people, and Big Mama thought it. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. She said, Johnny, why don't you point that gun yourself? Stop messing around. You're going to hurt somebody. And Johnny said, look, I'm going to show y'all. This gun ain't. Shot himself in the head. Johnny Otis, who was a Greek American, who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, R&B pioneer. Johnny Otis chose to live his life as a black man, and he had a black wife. He was from the Bay, from Oakland, but he said when Johnny Ace shot himself in the head, that Johnny had processed hair that the hair stood up on end and his eyes was bucking. So he's like Aries Spears. You know how Aries Spears was looking when you're doing a Cosby impersonation? But Johnny Ace, I love Johnny Ace because Johnny Ace, well, people don't understand. This is like who write the history. This is why I love this discussion about the hip hop origins, because we let them take rock and roll. We let them even try to come from jazz at the beginning. They'll line about the origins of jazz at the beginning. But if you wanted Johnny Ace to be your headliner, listen to what I'm saying. If you wanted Johnny Ace to headline your club or your juke joint, whatever, you had to have either BB King, Little Richard, or Bobby Blue Bland as the opening act. Now, decades later, Bobby Bland, BB King, Little Richard, their legacies are secure. BB King, Little Richard, definitely household names. But Johnny Ace is left in the dustbins of history. And he was the cat. He started with the Bill Streeters, with BB King, with Bobby Blue Bland, Junior Parker, Roscoe Gordon, and Earl Forrest. I told Bobby Blue Bland the year before he died, when I met him at the Royal Studio marker dedication. Royal Studios where Bruno Mars did Uptown Funk. That Royal Studios where Al Green laid down his amazing baby making music. That Royal Studios. I told Bobby Blue Bland, I said, man, the Bill Streeters were the Wu-Tang Clan of blues. Bobby Blue Bland looked at me. He looked up at me. He was in his wheelchair, but he looked at me like, son. I said, excuse me, sir. The Wu-Tang Clan are the Bill Streeters of hip-hop. I said, that's right, son. Then I asked him about Johnny Ace. He said, oh, he was a fine singer. But he didn't tell you, Bobby Blue Bland, the reason why Johnny Ace got his big break was because Bobby Blue Bland couldn't read. He was functionally illiterate at the time. He could not only read music, but he couldn't read at all. He was like R. Kelly. So the guy who recorded Johnny Ace gave him the song, My Song, recorded it, and the rest is history. But Johnny Ace's granddaughter is none other than Legacy. Yes, that Legacy. She looks just like her grandfather. So why is he not in the Hall of Fame of any type? Now he's in the Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Award honoree. We honor him. We presented his award to his daughter, who was like 2.5 years old when her father passed tragically. But it is what it is. Who write these stories? Who tell these histories? Who makes money off these stories and these histories? We got to start changing the narrative. We got to stop being marginalized or invisible characters in our own story. Dr. Bill Cosby told me last summer, he said, when your story get to the Hollywood level, I said Hollywood, he said Hollywood, you become marginalized. It's your story, but you're not even the main character, let alone a supporting actor in your own narrative. So we got to get serious about that type of stuff. But it's not over for R. Kelly. And thank God it's not. As long as he's still breathing, he got a chance. And the thing about it is, R. Kelly and Elvis Presley share the same birthday, January the 8th. They also have a fetish for pretty young things, PYTs. But they didn't punish Elvis like they punished R. Kelly. Maybe Elvis died at the right time, was in the right situation. Had he lived longer, maybe not. Jerry Lewis, he married his 13-year-old cousin when he was at the height of his career. And he's still making records. They ain't crucified Jerry Lewis. Great Balls of Fire. I remember that movie they did about Jerry Lewis in Memphis. Dennis Quaid played Jerry Lee Lewis. Goodness, great balls of fire. He's talking about the STD. I remember when they were filming that movie back in the day, years ago. But white folks protect their monsters, man. White folks protect their monsters. And it was interesting this past weekend, or this past Sunday. I guess Sunday is actually the beginning of the week. Had a chance to talk to Sister Karen Parsons, the original Hillary from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That sister still look fine. She is good. She is aging well. You know, a lot of them bright, light, high yellow girls, they don't always age well. I think about Jasmine Guy. I think about Ray Don Chong, Chong's daughter from Cheech and Chong. That's his daughter, Ray Don Chong. You think about Jasmine Whitley Gilbert. She don't look like she did back in the day. And I'm not trying to belittle nobody, but she's different. I'm different. Nah, she's different. Do, 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 do. But anyway, but Karen Parsons looking delightful these days. And you can tell she's at peace with what she does, because what she's doing, she's got a Sweet Blackberry Productions. She produced like animated shorts about Black history, little known celebrated Black history figures and facts. And also she's an author. She wrote a book about Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the traffic light, and also a book about Bessie Coleman, the aviation pioneer, who one of her first historic flights was in none other than Memphis, Tennessee. So she came to support the Luke Weathers Academy. They have a thing where they training young girls how to be pilots, how to fly. Black girls, Black Girl Magic. They don't have no program for Black boys that's equal to that, which is unfortunate, because we're gonna talk about. It's like time going fast and slow. Like I can't believe I'm still under an hour. I've been running off at the mouth, all this stuff. I'm all over the place. I'm not even at the hour mark yet. But shout out to the Luke Weathers Academy. How they teaching young girls how to be Black girl excellent as grown women pilots and all that. It's just interesting how Black boys are being left behind and Black folks are willingly leaving our males behind in the state of arrested development, which is interesting. It's very intriguing, and we're going to talk about that as it relates to Black male voter fatigue or turnout or dilemma or burnout, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about that tonight. But Miss Parsons was looking lovely, brilliant mind. But you could tell she had peace of mind leaving Hollywood behind. She, think about, she was in the Fresh Prince with Will Smith and all those people, and she was in the movie Major Payne with Damon Wayans back in the day. That was back in the 90s, and she's a part of my childhood. And it's good to see her doing good, looking good, and doing it well. So we're going to work on getting Miss Parsons on We All Be. She wants to do a show, and we're going to talk about this so-called thing called critical race theory. Like I told her at the Q&A, I have a problem with critical race theory. First of all, I never learned about Black history in school. I never learned about that. I really never learned about Black history. I learned that at home, reading my grandma's encyclopedias, reading my mama's encyclopedias, being a tour guide at the Civil Rights Museum, reading books, read, listening to elders. That's how I learned about Black history. I did not learn about it in elementary or middle school or high school. I just learned outside the classroom. And the thing about critical race theory, like I told her, if you give that treatment, if you give the critical race theory treatment to the story of General George Washington, one of the founding fathers, George Washington lost more battles than he won, from my understanding, during the American Revolutionary War. But yet he won the war. See, it wasn't about the quantity of the battles, about the quality, about strategy. But if you treated him like a Black man, if you gave him a critical race theory treatment, although he won the war, he'll be treated as a loser. See, critical race theory, from my understanding, for why I see it applied, they want to instill into institutionalize the Black mind, make us think that we always been losers. We never had victories. We had victories. We had recent victories. Bizarre how who gets to tell the story at the end of the day, how the facts are interpreted, how the truth is presented. So that's very important. So we're going to have that conversation hopefully soon. But I need y'all to do, if y'all want to see all this great programming I'm putting together, support the We All Be TV platform. See, this platform, the people that run this stuff, they have made it their business to undermine what I do. They have held up my videos. They have been removing videos dealing with historical events, claiming that, we're worried about your mental health. It ain't have nothing to do with my mental health, because these videos are over 10 years old. If you was concerned about my mental health, you would have reached out to me 10 years ago. And yet I'm still here. But yet you worry about my mental health. No, you worry about the fact that I might provoke thought. I might provoke mental stimulation. That's what you worried about. But I want y'all, if y'all really concerned, sincere, if this work, this God work I do has been beneficial, we'll promote it, show it, promote it, donate, buy things from the platform. Because I'm really at a war y'all have no understanding of. And trust me when I say this, if I knew the hell I'll be catching, doing the stuff I do, I'd probably get my time machine and do it a different way. Because nobody tells you what you're getting into. Because a lot of times they don't know anything anyway. People trying to tell you how to do something but never did anything. How you gonna tell me how to do this and you never did it? I gotta live it. Trial and error, warts and all. I'm living it. You know, life can be a very humbling experience. When you live long enough, when you've been through some things, you start having a greater appreciation for this being in the moment because you don't know what's going to happen the next moment. I have no guarantees that I will be around after this podcast. It's like you look at P&B Rock. He's talking to DJ Academics about, almost being robbed. I never been robbed. I want to put that out in the air. Let me take that back, that never part. Because anybody can get caught up. He lost his big brother to violence, and he got caught up. And you start pulling back the layers, because y'all get tripped. Well, he shouldn't have been in the hood. Nah, the hood don't exist. So your mental is the hood. The biggest project is between your ears. The biggest ghetto is between your ears. So whatever you think, I think, therefore I am, you manifest your reality. Because the ghetto ain't real, projects ain't real, but what you decide to manifest, that becomes real. That becomes the schism. That becomes the mental illness. Yeah, I said, people say, you crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Think about it. I'm in Memphis, man. They knocking down the projects. What they do is they turn the projects, what used to be the projects, the condominiums, and they turn the suburbs into the ghetto. They moving these cats. All they know is Section 8. All they know is Project Life, being stacked on top of each other, confined, restricted. They don't know how to cut their grass when they move out to the bird. Grass be sky high. Because they're not used to being responsible for manicuring a lawn. Because you didn't reboot their programming. So wherever they go, the world is a ghetto. Wherever they go, that becomes the project, that becomes the ghetto. The hood rat is a government invention, okay? So that's where we at. But I'm not giving up on R. Kelly. That brother got a lot more music left in his journey, and it ain't over till it's over. I used to think that was a song done by Smokey Robinson. It got to be a Mandela effect. I thought it ain't over till it's over. I can't believe that's Lenny Kravitz. I thought that was Smokey Robinson for years. I ain't the only one that thought that. But listen to some Jesse Powell. Listen to Gloria. Jesse Powell, old soul, old school. And they ain't know what to do with old soul, old school. Jesse Powell should got the same treatment as a Bruno Mars. Live instrumentation, all that stuff. He should got the same support as a Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars can't touch Jesse Powell. Bruno Mars is good at what he does, but he's a copy. See, y'all went crazy. Anderson .Paak, very talented. Bruno, but I think Morris Day in the time, those guys from the 80s, Cameo, Gap, they all did it better. It's like what Miles Davis said about Winton and all those guys. He said, yeah, we did it right the first time. He's like, why are you trying to do what they did? Your own generation got to answer the call in their own way. I love Winton. I have a greater appreciation as I get older for the necessity of someone like Wynton Marsalis. But when he was a young lion, he called it himself, it was his duty to challenge and even in some ways disrespect Miles Davis. He was put up. It's like that's not any different than how the status quo used Joe Louis to come at Muhammad Ali, how they used Louis Armstrong to come at Dizzy Gillespie. Hell, how they used James Baldwin to come at Richard Wright, how they used Eldridge Cleaver to come at James Baldwin. The powers that be drive out divide and conquering us. You understand what I'm saying? But tell the whole story. Louis Armstrong, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Them younger guys used to make fun of Louis. But they had a lot of respect for Pops. They had a lot of respect for Pops. You know, if you ever in New York City and Queens, go visit Louis Armstrong home. You won't regret it. But what they don't, a lot of times they don't tell you is people like Dizzy Gillespie, James Heath, and a lot of jazz greats, they were moving to Queens to be closer to Pops, to be closer to him for inspiration. They always, because Louis loved them guys, they loved him, but he was from a different generation where he had the clown. Y'all call it raccoon, but he was calling, I'm trying to survive and fight to live another day, to do the things I love to do. But you got to do this. But Louis was no sellout. Louis loved black people. He never left black people. In a lot of ways, he felt like some of the black folks turned their backs on him. They thought he was old-fashioned, out of style. Louis was always in style. Man, I'm going to tell you something. Listen to them Hot 5, Hot 7 recorders from the 20s. Forget it, the recording ain't what it is today, but the power, the inventiveness, the genius still come through. That trumpet, nobody sounds like Louis Armstrong. Now, people have tried, Winton, all of that. It's something about Louis. Nobody, he did himself. He was being him. He was playing him. When you are at the highest level of your craft, it's not about competing with other people. You are in competition with yourself. That's in any craft industry. When you at a certain level, it's like with Tom Brady. And I got a great appreciation for the great white hope. I mean, he delivered. And Tom Brady delivered. He might even break up his marriage for his love of football, but Tom is competing with himself. He knows his limitations. He knows his strengths. He sees the bigger picture. It's like with Miles Davis. People think it's their birthright to talk about Miles. Miles, man, he made a career playing the wrong notes. He can't play trumpet. Miles knew exactly his strengths, his weaknesses, and what he was trying to do. Miles was a big picture cat. He was smart enough to know that whatever I can't play on my trumpet, I can get John Coltrane to do it. I can get Herbie Hancock to do it. Wayne Shorter, Thelonious, anybody. He knew the power of the teamwork to make the dream work. It was not about me playing as many notes in a certain amount of time. He valued space. He allowed people to find their voice by giving them the space to be themselves. Sun Ra said it best: space is the place. Space is the place. A lot of y'all want people to sound like everybody. No, you're supposed to sound like yourself. It's like what Billie Holiday said, what's the point of me singing if I'm going to sound like everybody else? Sound like me. Like when I do what I do, I'm doing me. I don't edit everything. I could like, oh man, Ron, he missing notes, this and that. I don't care no more. I'm at the point where I'm an artist, I'm creative. You eating off of me. A lot of y'all be getting stuff from me. Won't give me the proper credit, like I did, like how they did Thelonious Monk or Charlie Parker. It is what it is, man. But when you are a creative person, a creative, when you are a God living a human experience, it's not about always getting the credit. It's like what Baba Dick Gregory told me: when the universe soul God uses you, sometimes the universe soul God don't leave any evidence or fingerprints that you was the one utilized. It is what it is because it's a bigger vision. You understand? It's a bigger vision. So still ain't at the hour mark. We barely about to get. I can't believe I'm doing all this talking. It's not even over an hour yet. So what? Okay, I think I'm gonna close it out. Oh, hey, I want to say this too. I did the PNB rock thing. That I wanted to bring this up. I remember when I watched Teen Summit back in the day. They had Scarface, the rapper, on Teen Summit. It's like when BET actually was trying to do programming to uplift and empower the black community. It had a balance. You had Rap City, you had Video Soul with Donnie Simpson, you had Teen Summit, a couple other things. I actually had a news program, with Ed Gordon, you had Tavis Smalley, but Scarface was on Teen Summit. This is right after Tupac got shot at Quad Studio. They're gonna never forget this. This stuff, this like years. This is 20, it's almost 30 years ago, right? And Scarface was on Team Summit. And I think the host at the time was a woman that ended up marrying a player for the New York Knicks. She was a beautiful chocolate sister, real chocolate, gorgeous black woman. She was engaged and ended up marrying a player for the New York Knicks, not Anthony Mason like Biggie talking about. It was a long story. Doom, doom, doom. It was a guy that was actually a teammate of those guys back in the day. I can't think of his name now. Some of y'all can probably type the name in the comment section, whatever. But Scarface was on right after Tupac got shot at Quad Studio. And the kids asked like, would you give up your jersey? I ain't gonna give up nothing. Scarface said it. Now, the Scarface of today probably would not lose. If somebody was like jacking him, well, he probably would give it up. He know, even he's not thinking like how he's thinking back then as a 20-something-year-old man. He's in a different space and a time of his life, and certain things have different meaning. Like Willie D said on his podcast recently, like he got a jewel that he don't rock no more. He got in a safety deposit box, but he's not trying to attract attention to himself unnecessarily right now in this time of his life. He's thinking like a person with some wisdom and some insight and some maturity. So Scarface said, "No, he was willing. He said, I'm willing to lose my life over my jewelry. I'm not gonna let these folks rob me." But everybody getting robbed. IRS robbing people, military, everybody robbing. It's different levels of robbery. It's different levels of burglary. It's different levels of thievery. When they play with our water and air, they robbing us. So what's a trinket in the bigger scheme of things? When they robbing the people of Flint, when they robbing the people of Jackson, Mississippi, what's a trinket? Little shining thing, gold plated. Diamonds not even worth what people think diamonds are worth. It's all a royal conspiracy. I'm not gonna get into it on here. It's a royal conspiracy. Just look it up. Take a look. It's all online. Okay. So yeah. I remember when they were killing folks over starter jackets. It wasn't just in Memphis, it was all over the place. People dying over Jordans. Michael Jordan has not lost no sleep over those kids dying over Jordans. This man's a billionaire. He got several billion reasons why he ain't losing no sleep over kids being killed over Jordans or starter jackets and stuff like that. Just trinkets and things. Just trinkets, man. But I wish P&B Rock didn't get shot in front of his girl and I heard he had a child there. I wish folks had more respect and reverence for life. But a lot of these young guys don't even care about themselves. A lot of these guys be doing that suicide by cop stuff. Y'all think, oh, the police overreacted. No, they want to get, they just too much of a coward to do themselves in. That's why they want somebody else to do it. Then y'all think, oh, the police overstepped the bounds. I just like, my thing is this, right? I don't have any children as far as I know. My thing is, man, when I deal with police, I'm not really afraid. My thing is, I just want to survive the encounter. I'm not trying to escalate something that don't need to be escalated. I'm trying to survive the encounter to live another moment and hopefully another day because I still got so much to give to the world. So I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like somebody trying to come for me, like even catch valeted my car. I'm not going to let you steal my peace of mind. I'm not going to let you steal my destiny from me. And I'm just all over the place, but let's talk about this. Got the battery save on, so I made a deal. I said when the computer go off, that means I'm going out the air. So I get off here. I could be on here all day, and I be having the hardest time getting on. When I get on, I can't get off. Get on or get off, whatever. But I'm just in the zone. I'm not looking at right now the chat. I'm sure. Thank y'all for whoever donated or going to donate and all that stuff. But I want to share something a friend of mine sent me about Democrats' black male voter problem. Right? Written by Charles Blow. I didn't know Charles Blow wrote this. I just read it not too long ago. So they're talking about the black male voter not supporting people like Stacey Abrams and all this stuff. I guess when you don't vote Democrat, that means something wrong with you. If you're a black male, and you don't automatically vote Democrat Party, that means something's off with you. You're protest voting, and I disagree because for first of all, I voted for Trump twice, and I will vote for him a third time. It's not about being a self-hating black man or all this stuff they trying to say or a protest vote. It's about me sending a wake-up call to awaken a sleepy giant, which is our people, but we're leaving black males behind, and that's a problem. We're leaving black males behind, and this country is never going to be all it can be until it does right by the black man. And as a 42-year-old black man, I know this to be fact. Like I said, I love the fact that Luke Weathers Academy. Luke Weathers was a black man who was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen from Memphis. He was the first black man to be given the key to the city of Memphis. They had a parade in his honor back in the day. He was a World War II hero. He's buried with full military honors in Arlington Cemetery near our nation's capital. But there's an academy in his name that they train young girls for a possible career in aviation. Train them to be pilots and everything. But where's that same type of program for black boys? I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, where's like what Judge Joe Brown would talk about over the years? You have your take your daughters to work program, but where's the same take your sons to work program? Why are they making black manhood obsolete? Not just black manhood, but manhood in general is becoming obsolete. You got folks over here masquerading as something else, claiming to represent the other group, not wanting to be what they was born to be. But they're trying to be all that they can be, or maybe they shouldn't be. And that's another story. You understand me? So what I'm saying is, this has been systemically happening for the last 60 plus years. Ever since black folks went from being conservative and voting Republican to going so-called more liberated, liberal, and democratic, the black family has been on the decline. Is that a coincidence that the black family has been on decline since pledging our allegiance blindly to the so-called Democratic plantation? I don't think so. They have done studies to prove that this is part of a government policy. It's like when y'all talk about, well, the brother should not be in at that Roscoe's. Why not? Only a slave restrict themselves to where they can or cannot go. Man had a right to be there. And really, that's bullshit because the government could come in and shut everything down and turn it into white people playland like they've been doing. Y'all think that's the hood, but you got white folks walking their dogs 3 o'clock in the morning near the trap house. You ain't gonna even touch them. That's why I think that's weird with Eliza Fletcher, a billionaire heiress, jogging at 4:20 in the morning, and she taken off the streets by a so-called repeat offender. But yet, there's a billion reasons why that I call that BS. That there's more to that story, and we're gonna talk about that in a different podcast because I heard some things. I heard it through the grapevine. But anyway, let's get back to the black male problem. You keep on leaving black boys behind. They become males in a state of arrested development, never grow up, baby boy complex all their lives, right? And so, how do you expect them to be accountable men with the ability to provide and protect and raise families? You don't. Because, like, what other group of people are programmed not to rely on their on their men? What other group of people are programmed to not trust and rely on their men? I can't think of any other. Not really. Because even white feminists need the approval of the white man to even exist, even have a platform. But it's like a lot of so-called black feminists, their job is to destroy black masculinity by any means necessary. But I need my brothers to understand what is happening and not allow yourself to be a pawn or to be made willfully obsolete. It's time for a change. I'm not here to bash nobody because we both sides got our problems. But the thing about it, it was a time that even when we was very dysfunctional, we knew the power of standing together as man, woman, and child. The real Trinity, the real Holy Trinity is black man, woman, and child. The origins of the family come from the black man, woman, and child. This is what we need to be standing on. That's what we need. I ain't just talking about this sexual thing or whatever. Talking about we just got to learn how to work with each other. Because if you look at truth be told, our greatest victories during the movement came through us working and communicating with each other. The Montgomery bus boycott did not happen because of white college students and white liberals. It happened because black folks got on the same page. Okay, sister, stop riding the bus. We'll make sure we protect y'all with our lives. We no, because like people don't understand, before the Montgomery bus boycott, you had white police officers and bus drivers raping black women. Go back to Reese Taylor, that happened in the 40s. This one was gang raped by 7 white boys. I ain't gonna call them men because they were boys. To me, they were boys, they were males, they were not to be respected as sir or man. They even confessed to doing this to this woman. This woman was walking home from church with her best friend and her best friend's son, and she was kidnapped by these white boys in the truck, and they raped her. They raped her so bad she couldn't have kids no more. They destroyed her womb, like Dr. Sims, Dr. Frankenstein destroyed the wombs of black women, so she couldn't have kids. And then they destroyed her character. They said she was a prostitute when she was coming home from church on her way to be with her husband and her daughter. And Rosa Parks, who was working with the NAACP down in Montgomery, she went to investigate what happened to Reese Taylor. And this is really the foundation for the Montgomery bus boycott and for the civil rights movement, along with the Emmett Till travesty. And what's interesting, the Karen Parsons book signing, this is why you know it's Mercury retrograde, right? They had a book signing. So we saw the movie, the Bessie Coleman movie she did at the movie theater, Local Malcolm. Then they had a book signing thing at Barnes and Nobles, but they had no books. This is Mercury retrograde, folks. They had no damn books. It's Barnes and Noble. They ordered the books. And, oh man, we forgot it was a snafu. So they had Karen signing autographs on sticky notes. I guess when we get the book, I ordered the book through Amazon. I'm gonna put the the sticky note, the autograph sticky note inside the book. But I actually ran across an interesting sister. So it was funny because they kept on throwing Emmett Till name around during that event. I'm thinking, okay, I saw a dude hit a cowboy shirt. I think they meant Emmett Smith, not on Emmett Till. Then as I was leaving the venue, I saw this light-skinned sister. Her name is Sheila Chamberlain. And she's a person of note. It's funny because she's like, okay, I said, what's your name? My name is Sheila Chamberlain. Look me up, Google me. I said, okay, whatever. I had a chance to take a picture with her and found out that she's a big time military person, that she's in the U.S. Air Force Military Hall of Fame. And she's a cousin of Emmett Till. So we had a unique conversation about what just us or justice looked like as far as Emmett Till go. And she was telling me that the family is at peace. Like she don't agree with the movement. Like, they say they're gonna go to Kentucky to confront Carolyn Bryant. Some people, some activists, the brother from North Carolina, his thug movement, along with some other people, they supposed to be going to Kentucky this week to confront Carolyn Bryant in the apartment complex she lived in with her son. She lost one son. I think she lost 2 sons. I mean, Carolyn Bryant has suffered. She haven't got off scot-free with the Emmett Till. I know people think that, she's in hospice care and all this stuff. She lost her sons. Her health. She have lost husbands. She went through a lot of stuff. Let's read her manuscript. She went through a lot of stuff. But still she could die in prison. Like they want R. Kelly to die in prison, like they wanted Dr. Bill Cosby to die in prison. What makes her better than them? But white folks love to protect their monsters and demons to the bloody or peaceful end. And so she was not in agreement with some of the tactics that are being used in the movement. And you know what? I'm gonna go for 15. I'm gonna plug this up, but y'all give me some grace. I'm gonna plug this up, but I'm gonna plug it up, y'all, because I want to tell y'all this information, and I won't get y'all opinion because we talking about black males. So when I start talking about black males, my computer want to shut down. It's Mercury retrograde. But we're gonna ride. We're gonna be some riders for this. All right, we're gonna ride. Y'all gonna ride with me, but I'm just gonna have to do this little thing. I'll be right black. Be right black. But y'all hold the sauce. Hold the Tabasco sauce, y'all. Because we all be news free, they say, for the 21st century. We all be free. I need to tell this stuff. I'm on a roll, man. I be freestyling, man. I don't have no plan. It's so much stuff in my mind. I could just go, really, I could go live every day. But if y'all want to hear my thoughts about a lot of stuff, support the cause. Cash out me some stuff, buy some stuff. Be a G about this. Because I am, and I put my life on the line. And let me get out of here. Not out of here, but let me take a break.
Greetings, everybody. This is Brother Ron Bird, also known as R2C2 HQ Artists. You are watching We All Be TV. News reading Dixie for the 21st century. Can you dig it?
Guess who's back? I don't know if I even had the audio share. It's Mercury retrograde, but I didn't want to talk about this thing, man. I have an interesting life. I don't put everything about what I do online. And if I did put a lot of stuff that I do, y'all wouldn't believe that this stuff be happening to me once in a day. I be having a lot of interesting things happen to me in a day, and I make things happen. But it's fascinating life. I just don't understand a grown person being bored. I don't see how nobody could be bored right now. I was like, doing a Facebook dating thing. It's weird. Dating is weird. If you are in a relationship, try to make that stuff work, man. Y'all go to counsel's therapy, get some work on yourself. It's hard out here, man. It's not, man. It's a drought. Like, I mean, that's just for men, for women too. I mean, it's hard. It's hard out here, man. But I encountered this 26-year-old girl. She don't do anything. All she do is just sleep and watch movies. That's what she told me. I said, you don't do nothing. You got a job? No. What you do for fun? I just watch movies and go to sleep. I said, you cook? I can, but I don't. Then, like she said, like she want a man to take care of her. I mean, what you bringing to the table, baby? Well, busting my assets to give you a certain life. How you helping me? She don't want no kids. She don't want to work. I mean, all she do is Netflix and sleep. Not just chill. She Netflix and sleep. And it was weird. I said, I don't know. I want to waste my time talking to this woman. She got too much time on her hand. Then she had a nerve to say she bored because she asked me what I was doing. I said, I do a podcast. This is like the other day. Well, I'm bored. I said, why are you bored as a grown? I don't understand what it is. I never bored. I never be bored. Like I'm a loner, but I know how to deal with people. I'm not antisocial. I'm not socially awkward. I know how to handle myself with people, but at the same time, I value my peace of mind. I value my solitude as a creative because I'm not really alone. I'm just sitting with my thoughts. It's just me, myself, and I. Thinking about the ancestors. I'm always connected, but I don't mind being a rider by myself either. I enjoy my company. I thank God that I have the ability to be able to love myself enough to accept myself and to feed my fertile imagination. But getting back to the Emmett Till cousin. Okay, let's get back there because I plugged my computer in so I could finish this story. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about black males. And I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna get them doing under 2 hours because I have not ate anything. I've been on the run. I just don't do run. But the Emmett Till cousin, Sheila Chamberlain, interesting sister. But she was saying, like, hey, look, her side of the family, they're not trying to do any harm towards Carolyn Bryant. Let the Most High decide her fate. Let God judge her. But then you got other folks in the family saying, no, we want justice to be done. We want her to be prosecuted. We want her to die in prison. See, I want her to die in prison. All this, it ain't about hatred. I don't even hate Carolyn Bryant. She's like, she's an all right lady. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, she's like a nice grandmotherly type, but you got a lot of killers in the nursing home. You got a lot of folks that have been doing dirty stuff all their life, just so happen to get old, and people think, oh, they're just harmless. They never harmless. What I'm saying is that this is not about hate. This is not about really what you think should be done. This is about what needs to be done. She needs to die in disgrace. She needs to die in prison. She could die. You get hospice care in prison. You could get treatment in prison. She needs to suffer because she needs to suffer. Because Emmett Till was not allowed to live a full life. And then I brought up, I believe that his father should be pardoned. They should do a posthumous pardon because he got railroaded. Emmett's father died at 23 under really, really suspect circumstances. They say he was raping and killing white women during World War II in Italy. Then you got the women who survived. They refused to say that he was the one that did it. Him and his co-defendant, another brother, Fred McMurray, got railroaded by a kangaroo court, and they're buried in the veterans cemetery over in France in the disgrace section. And the thing about it is, people say, well, maybe he did do it. The problem is that majority of the people that got that treatment during World War II were black men. And I really doubt they had got anything, a semblance of a fair trial. No different than if they were stateside. Because now, we're talking about how they want to exonerate or pardon now the actions of the 24th Infantry Regiment, the 3rd Battalion, the brothers who stood their ground during the Houston Race War. You had the largest judicial lynching in this country history. Brave black men who stood their ground, who tried to protect black womanhood, and they stood up for black manhood, and they paid the ultimate price, and they went out as men. So don't tell me you ain't your ancestors. You right, because you a coward, because these were men. These is G's. These are the real G's. They were fighting, man. Not just kung fu fighting, man. They were fighting for their lives. They were fighting for a better version of America. Now they know who gets to tell the story, who gets to tell the narratives. So with the lady, I respectfully disagree with her assessment. Carolyn Bryant should stand, but the problem is none of these fools got the moral fortitude to do the right thing legally, judiciously, expeditiously, as T.I. would say. They don't have the right. They don't have the Gonzagas. Gonzaga don't have the Gonzagas. I'm making up stuff, but had a interesting, because now I say, now people interested in Lewis Till. See, the thing about it is, I've been knowing about the Lewis Till thing for years. It's a lot of things I've been knowing about. It's not that I was trying to keep it to myself. I'm not just popular like that. People don't always. I got a lot of diehard We All Be people, of course, been rocking with me for over the decade. But I'm saying, like, I've been talking about certain things that's just now coming on the so-called popular consciousness or the wokeness of it all. So yeah, his father should be pardoned. Him and his co-defendant, because they was railroaded by Uncle Sam and them. And his son. Can you imagine? Your father died crazy at 23, and then you die at 14, and you can't even remember your father. And then your father don't even know that his son, his pride and joy, is going to meet a horrible fate. All the while he died trying to protect the country. They didn't want to protect his family, let alone him. So, I mean, it's an interesting conundrum we find ourselves in. But I respect the sister. Thank you for your service. But all this, we because she's talking about how she's cousins with Willie Parker too. That's another Emmett Till cousin, Reverend Willie Parker. She was saying that he agreed, but I said I'm confused. Like y'all be on these specials, on these documentaries, talking about y'all want justice, and y'all disappointed when there's no grand jury indictment. You know what I'm saying? The grand jury fails to indict, y'all get all disappointed. I'm confused about what y'all want, but it really is bigger than the Till family. It's not just about you or your family. It's bigger than y'all. It's like when we do the Fort Pillow reflaying ceremony. It's not just about the descendants of the people of the Fort Pillow massacres, of the survivors and victims. This is about black people. This is about us getting justice for just us. And we got to stand on that. We got to stop all this pleading and compromise. There's no compromise when it comes to true justice. Don't need no spongy backbone people. No Twinkies. We don't need none of that. Now, maybe we need a Twinkie because Twinkies on rock. I don't know what this is about. But anyway, it go back to the black male. We are not training boys to be men on any level. Some of these odors need to be found guilty of being delection of duty. Is that what the word delection? I don't know. Erection, dysfunction. I don't know. What I'm saying is, we shouldn't be afraid of our creations. We the Dr. Frankenstein. We created these monsters. We should claim our monsters. White folks claim they monsters. They don't always put their monsters down about old yellow. They let them live to be an old age, die in bed and sleep surrounded by family and loved ones. Black folk, we don't show any type of compassion or empathy towards each other, but Carolyn Bryant, oh Carolyn, please, Lord have mercy. Just let her be. She's old. Nah, you owe me $5. You need to pay up, man. But that was 20 years ago. I don't give a damn. Yeah, that was 20 years ago. It's $10 now. I don't give a damn. But like with white people, that was so long ago. That was just 2 weeks ago. But hey, everyone remember 9/11. That was 21 years ago. Yeah, we still should remember though. Oh, forget about that. But that happened 21 days ago. Yeah, it's old news. Oh, we shall never forget Pearl Harbor. Want a Whopper? So anyway, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Not really, but I'm gonna leave. But before I leave, let's look through the chats. I don't give no shout out. I don't look at the chat. I be talking. Let's see what y'all got to say. Great word from Brother Hurd. How can we be more politically astute? Well, we got to stop thinking that voting is the most important thing when it comes to politics. Organizing is the most important thing when it comes to politics. Organize meaning whether it be organizing around an agenda, an idea, a policy, a person. When you organize, and then accountability, organizing and being accountable. These are the keys to having real, true political power. Not just casting no ballot, and maybe they count it, maybe they don't. Maybe this time they count, maybe they don't count this time. Maybe they counted twice or 3 times this time. But being in control, organizing, knowing what the agenda need to be, what the objective is, and then holding yourself and the other people involved in the organizational process accountable. That's important. Thank you, Sister Betty. I know you speak with your words and actions. We love you madly. Some city love, city good of old love. My age is 42. Now I need a woman that's compatible with me, whatever that age may be. You got women that's 42 and they 40s, they not right in the head either. So it's about I'm open. See, my thing is, it's not that I'm pessimistic about the whole process. I just think God has an interesting sense of humor when it comes to yours truly. So I'm not really pessimistic. I just know that, man, it just ain't the same. I just know. But I told my 22-year-old self what's going on now. It's weird right now. But anyway, age ain't nothing really but a number. I know y'all talking about R. Kelly and all that stuff, but age is a state of mind. You got people that are my age that act like they 62. You got 62-year-olds that act like they 42. It's weird. But anyway. It runs deep. It is very deep programming. Yeah, dereliction. Yes. Black males have been derelict in trying to see. We don't have our leaders. We call them leaders. If you're not producing from your tree, you're not a leader. You look at somebody like I brought up Miles Davis. Miles Davis, all the cats that played with Miles Davis end up becoming leaders in their own right. You think about John Coltrane, Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, so many people. The guy who died recently, the pianist, that Keith Jarrett or something. I don't know the guy name that died recently. I don't know. It's a lot of things, but yeah, leaders produce leaders. Like you even look at football, Bill Parcells. Look at the coaches that came off his coaching tree. Think about Bill Parcells. I just said Bill Parcells. Think about Bill Belichick. Think about Sean Payton. You think about the coach at the New York Giants that was there with Eli. Those are his coaching tree. He produced coaches that end up becoming Super Bowl winners. So you judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And what has black leadership bear recently in terms of leadership? Name me one prominent, really strong, solid black male political leader or black man political leader. Don't tell me about no Benny Thompson. Benny Thompson, he got all this sound and no fury for Trump. Where is he at when it comes to his home state capital not having clean water for the people? Or where you talking about strange fruit been happening for decades under his watch? Where is his awareness and visual and his vigilance on that? I'm not impressed, sir. I'm not impressed. Sir, you are no Adam Clayton Powell Jr., you nor Shirley Jackson. Well, Shirley Lee Jackson, whatever her name, I don't care. You even got Al Green. The Al Green in Memphis, I like him better than the Al Green now in Texas. It's like I prefer the Bobby Rush in Jackson, Mississippi than the Bobby Rush in Chicago. That's just me. Yeah, Ramsey. He played with Miles, though. I know Ramsey Lewis. There was another cat that died recently. There was a contemporary of Herbie. He played with Miles Davis, a white guy. I thought he was a black dude because he had an afro back in the day. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He just died last couple years. Shout out to brother Music Gnostic, long time listener and supporter. Appreciate you, man. Got to catch up. Yeah, it's like I heard they got a little thing going on in Chicago. They try, their program in the purge. I mean, that's another story. Attention. Now it started 60 plus years ago. I mean, that's the new phenomenon. That's a recent phenomenon, but they started programming us. Hollywood is a part of Operation Mockingbird. You know what I'm saying? Like the controlling the culture. They changed the music before it got to the internet. They took the love out the music. They killed R&B. Like Jesse Powell. Jesse Powell was a throwback. He should have had like a live band, a live recording. They didn't do that for like they did for like Sam and James Brown, all them guys. Or you live stuff, Teddy Pendergrass. And think about all the great music, Isaac Hayes. They had actual musicians with soul and heart, and they put that in the music, and they killed that back in the 80s. And they used rap to do it. Think about all these rappers dying. They're manifesting their deaths. They're casting spells. They don't even understand what they're doing until it's too late. This is a war. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said every area of human activity with these people is warfare. And black folks are the ones that's lacking. We think everything will be like entertainment. You look at it, entertainment, look at it, it's the Hunger Games. It's the Hunger Games with these people. And like I said, I'm not really worried about it right now. I'm good. I'm more concerned about my peace. I would not allow anybody at this stage of my life to come in and interrupt my peace that I have built for myself. I don't care if you got a WAP or a Whopper. You're not coming close to me if you bring in toxicity. I don't need it right now. I like the fact I could take out the garbage instead of sleep with the garbage. You understand? Mary Berry was a G, and people out there talking about, he's a crackhead. This system will make you crack. If you're a real black man with my authentic black man with a love to serve your people, this system will try and make you crack. See, I'm one of those guys. I know I got a bigger assignment than what I'm doing right now. God has put me through some stuff to build up my mental, to make me a more of a stand-up type of dude, to make me endure so I won't sell out my people so cheaply. The problem with a lot of these people is, especially kids my age, you got kids that's just running for office. They just sorry. I ain't gonna say that to me, I just don't see they got no heart, they got no resolve, they don't know how to say no. And that's the problem. So if they don't got no heart and resolve, don't know how to say no, that means they'll be quick to sell your people out for just a pork chop sandwich. So I got kids that I meet, got soft, limp wrist handshakes. They want to run everything, but all they do is run their mouth and don't really run anything for the people. They run anything that's benefiting the people into the ground. A lot of things right now that's going on in Memphis and places like that is by design. Poverty is a invention of the system. Gangs is an invention of the government. It's the government's policy to undermine black folks by any means necessary. That's where we at right now as a people. That's where we at. And we are willingly playing the game to snuff ourselves out. So this was going, it's like what's going on to black people in America is like the movie Saw. We are in a long version of Saw. Anybody familiar with the Saw movies, they know what I'm talking about. Thank you for the love, Burrell. We love you madly for the donation. Aaron Burrell, we love you madly. And that goes, they're going to go in my tank. They're going to take me a little bit farther down the road, but the marathon continues. I appreciate it. Yeah, Judge one person, though. I love Judge Joe Brown. And, you know, it'll be nice to have somebody like him in office, but Judge can only do so much. You need a coalition of the willing. We don't need martyrs. We don't need a savior. We need to learn how to save ourselves and believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves and to organize around things bigger than a personality. But Judge is a unique piece in the puzzle. And I like Judge, considering all the folks who's trying to run right now. 100 out there. We need a committed 100. You know, think about Memphis was one dude shut down a whole city of 600,000 people. One person, a lunatic, whatever, savage, whatever. If one person could shut down a city of 600,000 people, imagine what 100 people could do who are working to empower a city of 600,000 people. Love you madly too, Sister Lori. Thank you for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in with us, the home of the creatively maladjusted family. We all be in it to win it. I'm about to shut this down. Yeah, I heard about that. There's a lot of Chicago police officers get rid of themselves because they know something that we don't know. It's like a lot of things are being exposed right now. That's why I said it's like everybody's on edge. A lot of the system makes you mentally ill. You know, I was reading a story in the New York Times about this black man, this black dude that lives in New York City. He'd been calling 911 thousands of times a year over the last 2 years. He go over 2,000 plus calls a year calling 911 about a place that don't exist called 312 Riverside. Y'all should check out New York Times article about 312 Riverside. Is an apartment that all this, people getting shot, killed, raped, they creating bombs and everything. But the issue is that the place doesn't exist, is a figment of his imagination. And the guy's an enigma because when people take him to court, when he get lawyers to represent him for his court appearances, people can't believe that this sweet old guy who's very affable, he was a lean, tall, handsome guy in his 70s, very cordial, don't look threatening, but yet he's making all these so-called prank calls to 911, and the police after a little bit, they stop showing up, but he make thousands of these calls a year on his cell phone. And nobody knows what to do with him. They don't want to, the judges don't want to put him in prison because he's a nice old guy, but he just have mental issues. And he's a Vietnam veteran. He didn't last long in Vietnam. He got honorable discharges weeks after getting enlisted. So you don't know what type of trauma he's dealing with. He lost his mom at a young age. His mom died of a drug overdose. She was a widow at the time. Him and his brother was raised in foster homes in New Jersey and stuff like that. He had got married young, got divorced young, got a grown daughter. I don't know what the relationship is like because it's like he's a loner. There's people dealing with stuff like these last 2 years that brought out some interesting like things, like some traumas and anxieties and fears are being manifested. We are living in a place, and people gotta understand, if you feed your dreams, your fears will starve, your nightmares will starve. We gotta know and learn that we do have a choice, that we should practice the art of self-determination as individuals as well as a collective, but you got to get in with your right tribe, your right clique, so you can do the right thing. So on that note, I'm gonna close it out. Thank you all for tuning in, and for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in. And even with Marion Barry, what's interesting that, his son was trying to take his father's place. That's some big footsteps. Then his son got sold a hot packet. They gave him a hot package. He OD'd, and he was a young guy. But they killed Marion Seed, man. So they don't only kill you, they kill your legacies too. And that's enough. I don't care what color you are. But thank y'all so much. We like the words of Brother Herb. Please spread the word. We all be TV on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, they taking people chains and people cars. Now they taking people guns out of people cars in Memphis. So if you like the words of Brother Herb, please spread the word. We all be TV. You want to support the movement? Cash App your support. $R2C2H2. That's $R2C2H2. You can Google Pay, PayPal, Zelle your support at R2C2H2 at gmail.com. That's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You can Vimo your support at R2C2H2. You can buy Art of His Art, R2C2H2.com. You even wear Art of His Art. Go below the video description box. YouTube, access our official Teespring shelf, and you go from there. Thank you so much, y'all, for being patient and loving and lovable. Really appreciate that. Y'all don't know how much that means to me, to have an audience, to have a platform, to be of service to the people, to get the benefit from the people, having your confidence, vote of confidence in me. But also, I want to encourage you all to do your own research. That's very, very, very important. So a disclaimer: the views expressed by host and guests on the We All Be platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. And informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Thank y'all for y'all vote of confidence once again, for your support. In the words of the late great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. And also, I want you to know to keep on producing and pushing. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I hate to let y'all go, man. Like some dear friends. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And I'll check out y'all. Be safe, but be great. One love.